I would like to share with you all how mystic and majestic our reality truly is. So last night, I had a dream, and this dream revealed to me my authentic self, my essence throughout time and space on this planet Earth. I was at the beach, an island, particular beach, and there was this machine on the shore, just touching the water. And this machine somehow darted spears. And I've never seen this before. And there were other people on the beach. I wasn't alone. There was people like vacationing. There was like the natives. There was people. And I saw these beautiful killer whales just riding the waves just a little bit further out, okay, where the shallow meets the deep. And then I saw this man with his machine dart a spear at the killer whales. And he did it another time. And then I saw these killer whales just like blood in the water. And I knew these killer whales were killed. And then I looked around on the shore and everybody's just kind of like with their family, like they're on vacation, they're still swimming in the ocean, then the natives are talking amongst themselves, people are walking and going, there was like a pier and people were on the pier, and I was like looking around like, what kind of dimension am I in right now? It is as though it was a sport. Killing killer whales was a sport. It was an accepted sport. So in this dream, I stepped up to the man and I said, "What are you doing? Why are you killing these killer whales? What is this machine? Get rid of this machine." So there was resistance, of course, with any sort of revolution, there's resistance. So he just kind of like smugly like just gave me that look, like I don't really care, and just kept doing what he was doing, kind of, surveillancing the ocean to see if there's other killer whales that he can dart and spear. Okay, so what I did in the dream is I started to chant. Now these chants were Native American chants. Okay, no chants I have ever heard of in my lifetime. Okay, this lifetime that I'm in right now, I've never heard such chants before. So I started chanting, and what happened in the dream is the chants got very loud. It was though they created this, it was like we were in an amphitheater, and it was echoing, it was broadcasting everywhere, and it was irritating the man. He was very irritated by my chants, because they were very loud, had a huge amplified sound current. And I told him, I said, I'm not going to stop until you stop whatever you're doing. So I continued and I continued and I continued. And then everybody on the beach, they started to like look at me. They started to like zone out of whatever sort of thing that they were doing, and they started to, I guess, their eyes, the rose-colored glasses came off of their eyes, and they started to make the connections that I was making inside, internally, about this whole spearing of killer whales for sport. They started to open their eyes, and they started to kind of join me. They joined me. So then, kind of moving forward in the dream, I was on the pier, and this man was behind me, and he tried to push me off of the pier into the deep water, okay? And the water was kind of getting tumultuous. It was getting rough. And he tried to push me off of the edge of the pier into the water, but I grounded my footing, and I was able to secure myself from, falling into the deep water where it was getting very, very dangerous, okay? So what is this dream? What is the mystic and majestic reality of this dream? So ever since I was a young person, I've always had these, you could call them visions of myself in previous incarnations, or I would call previous incarnations, where I was always participating in a revolution. okay? Either there's the French Revolution, either it's a revolution in Hawaii. I mean, it's just so much. And in this incarnation, I have that revolutionary spirit, that ability to be courageous and to stand up, particularly to stand up for such, innocents, such as killer whales or children or the trees, things that don't have a voice, that cannot vocalize or communicate to us their perspective. Okay, so I've always had that ability to stand up for such creatures who are voiceless. Okay, so this dream really activated me. Okay, activated that core essence of myself, that inner authentic rhythm that has been with me from time and time again, about an ability to stand up when everybody's just kind of like, ignoring or, just denying, in total denial, while they go about their family and, their lives as though that's not happening. So it's kind of interesting, was showing that in plain sight, okay, while everyone's on vacation and, the natives doing their thing on the pier, walking, across the beach, in plain sight, there was this spearing of killer whales right there, but nobody noticed. Nobody cared. It was irrelevant to them. Okay, well, I had this ability to kind of like make connections, like, okay, there's something, this is a little bit off. I don't think this is good. Okay, so in moving forward out of the dream, I wake up and I'm feeling just this great, almost like aha moment or epiphany. We get these aha moments or epiphanies or realizations about ourselves, sometimes in dreams or meditation. Okay, and what really amplifies the dream state and the receptivity of realization in dream is that meditation. When we meditate daily, we get into that parasympathetic nervous system, and that really helps us to really open up ourselves, open up our channel, or you call it our pipeline, to receive, we call it downloads, or these codes of information that really want to help us in this life. There's always things coming through us to help us navigate this lifetime. Okay, we just need to have that receptivity, that ability, that openness of the mind to really receive it. Okay, or it just gets scrambled, it gets misappropriated, it gets misunderstood, it distorts into some sort of something else based on all of our belief systems that we have that really muddy and cloud our pipe system. So nothing can come through, nothing clean and nothing crystallized can come through a pipe system that's really kind of, you say, murky or cloudy or smoggy, because of all of our belief systems of judgment. Okay, so Mystic and Majestic is very much not about judgment. It's very much about openness. It is about well-roundedness. It's about we are good and bad. We are this and that and that and that and that and that and that, a multitude of things. Okay, but when we don't have that openness of mind, we resist, we get stubborn, we reject, we deny, and therefore we are like literally pushing or rejecting that information that wants to come in. Either we see it as good or bad. It's none of those things. It is trying to help us reach balance. So not, that is a dream of very, bad things of my past incarnations, or, I was an assassin or something like that, or, very good, such as, really being courageous. It's not or. I am good or bad. It is showing us our destructive nature, our creative nature, and it's helping us to navigate the balance between the two. Okay, so we don't really think about that, and that's why we don't feel like very intuitive or psychic or connected to a mystic or majestic reality on this planet Earth. Okay, so when I was kind of walking my dog in you could say the early hour, I walked by this tree. Very ancient tree. I connect with this tree a lot. It is the elder of, you could say, this region that I live in. Okay, it's very, very old and very tall and very deep. And while I was just kind of looking up into the branches, very much in awe, very much in awe at this wise elder, was very respectful to this wise elder of the region I live in. And I got a vision that helped me to make more connection. We're kind of solving the puzzle piece of our life in the totality, the continuation of it. We talk about, we past lives, future lives, and kind of, transurfing the many realities of ourself through time and space. And I had this vision of a monk, and a monk said something to me. Not now, I've never met a monk in my life, unless it's like on YouTube or something. And I came to a monk in a previous incarnation. I made a voyage to a monk, and this was way in the past. There's no sort of technology going on, no technology ages. I don't even know if there was really, it was very ancient times. Okay, it was older times. And I went to this monk on, like, you could say, a voyage or a pilgrimage, and this monk said to me, and this was monumental shift in my consciousness that really led into many, many lifetimes of that revolutionary spirit. And he said, your heart should be a fire. And it's very, monks, they give you, yogis, gurus, they give you messages, but they're encoded. You have to decipher it. And you are not going to decipher it in an hour or a minute. A lot of times it can take lifetimes to decipher that single impact from that monk. He said, your heart should be a fire. And I was like, okay, I'm like, what does that mean? So in the many, many incarnations of, you could say, deciphering that impact from that monk, I realized that the fire, okay, the heart should be a fire, in my interpretation and my experience, my touch of it, was through being a revolutionary mind, being the person that has the courage and the fearlessness to stand at the front line, to pay attention, to see things that everybody ignores, and not just to kind of shove it to the side or just, oh yeah, okay, I saw it, but I don't want to see it, but to actually communicate what these voiceless creatures are trying to express to us as human. And in that experience, it's kind of like an experiment as well as experience, I found in my heart this fire, this ecstasy, this passion, this purpose, this deep meaning, this mission. Okay. Now, I don't know if that was the path the monk wanted me to go down, because there's many, many avenues that lead kind of to the same thing, the passion of the fire of the heart. For many people, it could be a totally different avenue that leads to the same thing, but I took that path. So I wanted to express this to you guys to really convey the mystic and majestic reality that we truly live in. And the more that we are receptive to, we could say, the open-mindedness, our inner talents and gifts, that, that psychic awareness, our intuition, the more that we get into that parasympathetic kind of calm where we can actually be able to decode the dream state and to actually obey and to be able to, like, follow the dream, to not just whatever, that's just a meaningless blah, but to actually allow ourselves to be contemplative with our dreams, with our meditations, because we're always, all of us, in that kind of out there in the world, we're all kind of like, just you could see we're seeking for something, we're unfulfilled, we're seeking, but it's there. We just don't have the receptivity to actually be able to drop in and to absorb the information. Okay? So through the practice of, my own sort of preparation for receiving you could say this information is Kundalini Yoga, a way to strengthen the nervous system, to create a container as well as create a capacity to be able to handle such mystic and majestic reality. So a lot of us, we want to, mystic, we want majestic, we want reality to be, we want to be so in awe, we want to have breakthrough, we want to have victory, but we don't have the capacity or the container within our energetic field or the nervous system in our body, or the emotional, stability to be able to actually drop into the information and to handle it and to actually do something with it. So it's kind of like our divine essence is there, but if we can't handle it, it's like, why, why give it, give it to you, but it's like, well, you're not going to do anything with it because you can't handle it. You don't have it within you at this current moment to be able to make the connections. Okay? But all the time we're getting messages, and we do make connections. Either it's now, or it's a decade from now, or 2 decades, or when we're on our deathbed. We always make those connections because that's a part of really coming into the total self, coming into our well-roundedness. We're not meant to be fragments out in the ethers, we could say, that just have no sort of correlation, that are disconnected, that have no sort of communication with each other. No, we're meant to be very consolidated in embodied human beings. And a part of being embodied is exploring, discovering, and learning about how well-rounded, dimensional, and how many faculties we have within the self that could be contradicting, polarized. We have a shadow side. We also have a light side. But overall, they are revealing to us our balance. I'm just going to leave it at that. Our sense of balance. So when we really come into balance, what do we become? We become creators of our reality. We become, we do that destructive nature as well as that creative nature. Okay? We become a person that knows how to alchemize. And that's when we talk about navigating. We know how to navigate when we know how to alchemize. We know how to potentialize this, childhood. We know how to potentialize our, our high school years, our college years. We know how to potentialize, our everything that we are right now and everything that's around us. That's an alchemist. But we can't become that until we actually recognize how well-rounded, majestic, and mystic we are. Because then we're just what we call, a lot of us are victims. Okay? Victims of basically our assignment. So I see it as we have assignments, okay? And these assignments are for us to complete, just like, anything, or we're meant to complete it. So we're given a tool, we're given a navigation system, but our judgments and our stubbornness is what has us kind of delaying ourselves, stumbling, faltering, kind of rejecting ourselves. And in the process, we don't feel fulfilled. We don't feel that we are very grounded, rooted in earth, and with great height. We just don't feel soulfulness. We don't feel charisma, that fire of that heart. So that fire of the heart, that monk told me long time ago, I wanted to share that with you because in our great, you could say, fulfillment, even if, it's scary at times, that fire of the heart is that ability to just continue to burn through all of the limitations, all of the suffering, all of the doubt, and be able to revolutionize the self just enough to leave an expression on this earth that can help us to be more balanced as a human race. So, just gonna leave you guys with this, and hopefully this helps you better learn and discover you.